In a world where trivia games are played on a podcast, one man reigns supreme and chooses the movie, while the loser must face his punishment episode.
Oh God! Oh
This
Jesus Christ!
is Punishment Spoilers.
Hello there. Welcome to Spoilers. Tonight I am your host, Stevie, and this is my punishment episode for getting the least amount of Oscar picks right. How many did I get right? Anybody know?
8, I think.
2? I mean, I'm just saying no excuses, but I was just blurting out things driving in an ice storm, so I could care less at that point. I was trying not to die.
It was a chaotic night. You picked admirably, and you were the only person to predict Green Book.
I
which
picked
counts
Green
for
Book from the
something.
moment I left the theaters. I said that's going to win Best Picture, no doubt.
Getting the least amount of Oscar picks right is a nice way to say you lost Oscar Pickem, Stevie.
Oh yeah, I lost hard. I even said I didn't care. If you were ever in the thread, Jode, you would have read that. But tonight we were doing The Prestige. Most normal people would say, Stevie, The Prestige is awesome. Stevie, it's in my top 10 movies of all time. It's the best Nolan movie ever made. Well, I just don't feel that way. Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves, going from Eastist to Weestist.
I believe I am Eastist.
The champion. The champ is here.
This is the Oscar Pickem champ, Jordan, recording from Durham, North Carolina.
What's your favorite Christopher Nolan movie?
Probably The Dark Knight. I think.
Follow-up question, how the fuck did you win Oscar Pickem, Jordan?
Hey, man. Looking at those betting odds, listen to a few other
You
movie
looked at
podcasts.
Vegas?
Yeah.
I thought we were looking at Vegas this year.
What?
Stevie, you were literally the only one who said that, and that's why you lost Oscar Pickem.
Picking with the heart.
I know exactly why Jordan won, because he picked Bohemian Rhapsody 3 more times than everybody else did.
Hey, it had to win because of something.
Jordan, did you see Bohemian Rhapsody?
No.
Good, don't ever do it. I'm telling you.
Why would you?
Save 2 hours of your life.
Kirsten really wants to watch it, and I really don't.
Oh, man, don't.
Don't want to.
Go watch Bubble Boy twice. You'll feel better.
As soon as Brett picks it, yeah.
So I guess
Speaking
it's
of,
me.
yeah.
This is Brett from Fort Wayne. This is my favorite Christopher Nolan movie. Never said it was the best, but it's my favorite.
That's fair. I respect that.
Why is it your favorite? What distinguishes that between favorite and best for you?
I don't know. I think Inception's like really awesome, and Dunkirk's really awesome. And
Where did you first see this movie? Like, did you have a memorable first?
Yeah, I
experience
actually
with it?
watched it with Josh and our buddy Drew and our friend McMasters and
Friends of the pod.
our other friend Ralphie.
None of them are friend of the pod.
No, all of them hate the pod.
We watched it in college in Bloomington, and it blew me away, and I thought it was even better the second time I watched it. So I
Solid.
probably watched it about 9 times.
I respect it. Pap, what's up?
Yeah, this is Pappy. We're going from Denver, Colorado. Most Weestis. I was actually not going to be on this, even though I rewatched the movie for the pod, but I went for a little run, got a little energy, so yeah. I'll be with you in the punishment. It's not my favorite Nolan movie. I think my favorite Nolan movie is actually probably Dunkirk.
Ooh. Did you see it in IMAX?
Yeah, I saw it in 70mm IMAX. It was one of the coolest movie experiences I've ever had.
That sounds awesome.
Nice.
But I will say that I did raise my rating of the Prestige half a star.
Heck yeah.
On this rewatch.
So what's it at now for stars for you?
4.5 stars.
Nice.
4.5 for me, 4.5 for Mikey, 4.5 for Pappy's cousin.
1.5 for Stevie.
Which cousin?
No. I
Adam.
actually really like this movie a lot. It just there's things that happen in this movie where I say I don't think you can have it both ways, but I want to.
Well, sorry. Before you start, one thing: I was ready to retire the Oscar Pickem show. I was so down on it until Jordan picked the Prestige for you, and I thought that was the most perfect pick in the history of this thing. So, like,
why? Thank you,
there's some
Babby.
Background, right? You hate this movie, right, Stevie?
I don't.
Okay.
This movie is
twins
so,
and clones.
This movie is
I
so
do
well
want a
done.
chance to explain this after Stevie goes through.
Yeah, this movie is so well done. It's brilliantly shot. I like the way the story unfolds. It's very well acted. It's just that thing at the end drives me nuts. I don't think you can have it both ways, personally. Like twins and clones, as Brett said, it drives me nuts. I think you could have got there in a more clever way than twins and clones.
A lot of that was pulled from the book. I mean, I read up a little bit on the book, and I can throw some of that to you guys later. But
give us some street knowledge, Brett.
Okay, so it's basically like the same storyline. The two twins, Borden and Fallon, and all that stuff.
Albert and Frederick, yes.
Yeah, they're twins, and they're magicians. They invent the transporting man, and then he invented again, and Angier's super jealous of him. Tries to figure it out, can't figure it out. So he actually goes and meets Tesla, like in the movie.
So that's in the book. Tesla's in the book?
Yeah,
nice.
he makes him the machine, and it drives Borden nuts trying to figure it out. So kind of like in the movie, he sneaks backstage, but instead of, getting framed for murder, he turns the machine off in the middle of the transportation. So you get two Angiers. You get one that's a real corporeal body, but he's weak. And then you get another one that's like a ghost Angier, kind of like he got caught in the middle.
Oh, like kind of like metaphysical, I think that is. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's
poltergeist Angier.
He looks real, but he's like almost transparent, and he's not like a real person. But it's like the real Angier's lost that part of his body. So he retires and goes, becomes that lord like he does in the movie. And that's as far as I can get with that. And then something even pretty crazy happens at the end. But
what happens at the end then?
Well, the ghost one goes and almost kills one of the twins. And at the very, very end, the corporeal Angiers actually dies, and the ghost guy tries to use the machine to put himself into the dead guy's body because he's either hoping it'll restore his body or it'll kill him because he can't die.
What is this like written in first person from Ghostman?
No, they're reading.
Past.
It's kind of like in the movie. The whole book's kind of told through both their diaries.
Okay,
so that's how it unfolds?
Yeah, and then at the very end...
They kind of go Frankenstein with it?
Is it like a Game of Thrones type thing? Like you read the chapter of this person told in first person and switches back and forth?
I think it's kind of more like how the movie is. They kind of go in big chunks. Kind of...
Okay.
And, like Angiers is reading... They're reading his diary, and he's talking about meeting Tesla. And at the very end, 100 years later, the ghost is seen coming out of... some door, so it didn't work, and he's just gonna live forever, and he's miserable. So, it's a lot different, but it's got the same guts of the story. So,
I did like how this movie starts out with with Borden or Fallon or whichever one it is, which I think at the end it is Frederick, the one who was initially Fallon, getting charged with murder, and it kind of. This movie hops around a lot.
I'll say this, yeah, and Brett, I know it's one of your favorite movies. I think that the editing in this, like The Godfather 2, is a little bit haphazard. Is there a rhyme or reason to the way the story is cut together? I thought it was confusing for confusing's sake.
Well, that's what actually one of the reviews said. But they also said that it was one of the most. It's on some list as one of the most beautifully shot movies of all time, number 30 something. So
no, I'm not doubting the cinematography. I'm talking about the editing of the story.
I think they wanted to do confusing. Again, I found out so much more the second time I watched it.
The 3 acts are the magic trick.
Yes, I think that's awesome, by the way. I couldn't tell you, Pappy. I really couldn't tell you.
Pap, do you mean like the smash cuts and stuff like that? Or
I mean, I was just looking back to like the first time I saw it, I was like super disoriented, but it's even like the way that it's essentially two stories, but the way that those two stories are edited, like, and the way they're presented to the audience, it was super confusing. Like, you're jumping around in the
you can't really
timeline.
tell whose flashbacks are whose.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like there was no like rhyme or reason to it. But what Stevie, what did you say that the three acts are the magic?
Yeah. So
act?
if you watch this movie, kind of based off of, because it kind of puts it in plain sight for you. In the beginning, you have
it's literally the first part of the movie. It's narration. Well, not narration.
What are the three steps called?
Oh man.
There's the turn, the prestige. What's the first one called?
Pledge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling the little girl, which you find out who the little girl is at the end.
Right. So the first act is the pledge, second act turn, third act prestige. I mean, so that's why, I guess it makes sense why it was edited the way it was, because it's pretty much saying, like, you're taking something ordinary, which a man being framed for murder, then you turn it into something extraordinary, which is Hugh Jackman cloning himself. Then you return that man back to life, which is Christian Bale actually being a twin the whole time. So I think it does
Twins and clones.
So I think it does like the acts of the magic throughout its actual acts of the movie. It's pretty meta.
But the twins and the clones are like completely opposite storylines, though, that just happen to come together at the very end. I mean,
yeah, I feel like they both kind of go through their own thing.
It's not like there's a twin and a clone on top. Yeah. They do, and I think, the twin thing to me is awesome because it's kind of like they give you a really quick foreshadowing earlier with that old Asian magician who's not old. He's just pretending to be old so he can pull off that trick, and he does it all the time.
And the little boy.
I would never want my life to be a fake or something like that, one of the characters says. Yeah. Or I like to be a phony.
So, and also they're kind of opposite people. The Borden twins, they're great.
They're opposite from each other.
But either way, they're great magicians. And Angiers is a great showman.
And a lousy magician.
And then Borden's a terrible showman.
Yeah.
Like, nobody even knew what was going on when he first did his trick. I mean, like, Angier's like, it's the best trick I've ever seen, but it happened so fast, nobody even knew what happened. Yeah. And then Angiers doesn't have the talent and obviously doesn't have a twin, but everyone loves it. He's selling out shows because he's just a great showman, the great Danton.
The greatest showman.
Yes.
Oh. Hey. Future spoilers pick. Hey-o. It's just my thought. I mean, I really enjoyed watching this movie. I don't think it's lazy. I just didn't like the way the story enveloped. I would have rather have seen like Hugh Jackman driven mad and just have Christian Bale revealing a twin at the end than twins and clones.
Well, yeah, I'll agree with you there. And that's
just me.
Going to be a very different episode of spoilers as a punishment episode. But like I think that the whole huge Ackman plot is too developed. Like I don't need to see why he's able to make that trick. To me, the story is more of like a persona story of Christian Bale. You know what I mean? Going back and forth. That's like the most interesting part of the movie to me. Like,
yeah,
I forgot this movie takes place in Colorado for part of it.
Yeah,
Colorado Springs.
There's two parts of this movie that I could think of at the top of my head that just really, it blows me away. That I love how it's done. One is when you go back and watch it like the second time, you really start to notice the really subtle ways that the Borden twins treat.
Yeah.
Like, the whole, I love you, not today, and, what the other ones, super into Scarlett Johansson, but the other guy's never into Scarlett Johansson. He might do things to her because that's part of the gag, but it's just he just plays the role so much and it makes everyone miserable, but he just does it because of the craft. He's such a craftsman. I love going back and watching. You can tell who's who just because of how cold or warm he is to each one of the women. And I don't think you pick up on that a lot the first time you watch it.
Well, but one of who's the wife of
Sarah,
his character? Sarah says multiple times, "Today you love me, today you don't," and I feel like that's a bit heavy-handed.
I wish you'd be more consistent.
No, she says, I think it's more subtle. Like I said, she goes,
No.
today.
She says it explicitly like 4 times. It's like, I wish you trusted the audience a little bit more on that.
Not today.
Not today. You don't love me.
Yeah.
Then she said something like, I feel like you're two different people a lot. Then, like, Hugh Jackman even says, like, he thinks, like, Christian Bale's diary was written by a madman. It's like he's living 2 different lives.
Yeah.
One of the things that I haven't like read theories about this movie in a long time, but one of the things that I read recently after picking this movie for Stevie was that like when you read the diary and when you hear like the first line, it says like, "We were 2 men at the beginning of a promising career," or something like that. Everyone thinks that it refers to Angier and Borden.
I like that.
But it's just it's the twins, and like I think it goes on to say like, we were just trying to make a career and we never wanted to hurt anybody, but everything like plays into this whole twin thing. And I don't know, Stevie, I've always kind of thought that you have hated this movie for like the trick in it, and I think the part that I love about this movie is like the battle between 2 or 3 I guess dudes,
the one-upsmanship of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some parts that, like, I just don't think would fly. I mean, it's cool for, like, cinematic purposes, but, like, come on. Like, if you're going to bring people up on a stage, you know who you're bringing up. Like, Hugh Jackman in a beard doesn't look any fucking different. And he knows he's going to get shot, like... And also, when...
That part is pretty weak, I will give you that.
And
like,
also
Fallon chooses him in the audience.
Yeah! Like, really?
And it happens fast. Like, it's like they have like 1 or 2 shows, and it's like, okay, you're up.
Yeah.
It's like sabotage.
Yeah, and then also, when either Frederick or Albert goes up on stage when Hugh Jackman's doing the new bird trick, and he kills the bird in front of him, it's like, you know who you're bringing up there.
Yeah. He fucks up his
well,
fingers.
You can also, the person who's picking the person, not Fallon, but the other, the bird one, who's to say he's not just pointing in a direction and he doesn't know who he is? What if he just gets up and walks up there? Who's going to stop him?
I've caught on to that too. It looks like the like assistant just points into the crowd and he like stands up and almost like dismisses somebody else who thought it was them. Like he's like, this is gonna fucking be me. Like I'm going up there. If
you act like you're the one called on, who's gonna stop you?
That's a really good point.
The Fallon one's a little bit more of a stretch, but again, that could happen as well. He kind of points, and if you act confident, you just walk up there. Who's gonna say you weren't picked? Maybe the guy next to him was like, "Oh, I thought I was picked," but I guess it was him.
Let's hand the guy who looks like my brother's rival a gun.
No, I'm on with Brett. That actually makes sense. Who's going to stop you? But you mentioned the bird trick, Stevie. What'd you think of Michael Caine?
Of Michael Caine?
Oh, I love him in this movie.
There it is.
Michael Caine.
Is this the beginning of the BFF with Caine and Christopher Nolan?
Well, Dark Knight, Batman Begins came out first.
Batman Begins is before The Prestige.
Is it?
Even though they started writing Prestige in like 2000, it took them 5 years to write it because they were going to do it before Batman Begins or Dark Knight, one of the two. And
it's so complex.
They kind of sped up the Batman. So.
I mean, but Christopher Nolan wasn't even signed on to do this until like way late in production, right?
Well, this was a short story that Jonathan had written, or like the start of a idea, and they just kind of passed it back and forth for 5 years while they were both doing other things.
Gotcha.
Now,
wait,
they bid on it.
Original,
what?
This is an original screenplay? I thought you said it was like based on a book.
It is, but
maybe
adapted.
They like bid on the studio bid on it, and they gave it to Nolan, I believe, and
because it was supposed to go to Sam Mendes, who did American Beauty.
Yeah, he would have been doing Road to Perdition at that time, right around that early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, this is a screenplay. The Nolan brothers wrote it and everything. So, yeah, it's based off a book, but again, it's a book from 1995 by Christopher Priest. So,
has he done any other books of notes?
I don't believe like that, but I think it's funny that like Christopher Priest was like watching it and like the movie blew him away and he kept like apparently kept saying, That's great. Why didn't I think of that? Like, he really liked how it turned out, and he said he watched it like 3 times and like freaking loved it. So
that's awesome. But to get back to Pappy's question, I love Michael Caine.
Yeah, he's
I
great.
think he is such an awesome actor. And I also love him in this too, because he definitely like gets, you think he's on Angier's side the whole time.
Well, he is, but
he
like,
sees his downfall though.
Yeah, like at the very end, I mean, he likes him. He's super loyal to him because he thinks he's a good man. You know, he's got faults and everything. But when he finds out about the clone thing and what's going on with that, he's just like, nope. And then not only that, he doesn't just abandon him. He actually helps Borden get back to him, get back at him. So, because he realizes he's a monster, which brings me to the second thing earlier that I alluded to that, like, just, I always thought about real deep about it. Like, every time Angiers goes in that machine, he has no idea if he's going to be the one drowning or not.
Yeah, they said that.
Yeah.
But it just would be so scary, you know?
Well, I mean, I don't know how transportation cloning works, but does he share all of his memories?
Yeah, I believe you have a consciousness, but you have the same consciousness, but you're in a different body. So every time he lives, he has no idea if he's the original Angiers or not. So every night he goes on there, he doesn't know if he's going to be the one drowning or not. And that's just like a paradox or whatever for me that I think is just really cool. But
so it's like post going through that Tesla machine, both Angiers think they're the real Angier.
Right. That's why that one time, he grabbed the gun. He's like, no, wait, and then he shoots him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, the guy who got shot was like, why are you shooting me? I'm the real one. But the guy who shot him was like, I'm the real one. But, you only have that one body. So you're either the one drowning or the one not. I mean, if that is weird as that sounds, but.
David Bowie is a great scientist.
David Bowie. Pap, what's your favorite David Bowie song?
That's a good question.
The one from Labyrinth?
Young Americans? Young America. That's probably my favorite. I mean, Dance Magic Dance.
Yeah, it's
God
great.
dang, that's a fucking banger. It's tough to pick, but what I noticed, Stevie, on this rewatch of The Prestige is every time David Bowie's in a film, his entrance is fucking spectacular.
Every time.
He must negotiate that. There's no way that's a coincidence. Like, he comes through all these like Tesla sparks in this film.
And then like,
I think I might be of some assistance.
Yeah, and then in the background's like, let's dance. Yeah, and then he turns. He's a bird in Labyrinth, man. I mean, classic.
It's insane. It's amazing.
Stevie pulls out the Zoolander. Love it.
Like, that is one of my favorite
Same
moments in any movie ever. Like, I always go back to that one and make me laugh. But so as I said, this movie's really well done. It's fun to watch. I also like how a lot of the twin that we start off with is Frederick, not even Albert. Like,
how do you know this?
What?
How do you know this? What's your? It feels like you're differentiating a lot between these two.
Because they're twins that are different.
But how do you know which one is which?
Do they ever even say they're both names? They're always referred to as Alfred or Borden.
Right. Which,
and Fallon.
If you take Albert...
I know, I get it. It's a combination of the names.
And Frederick, yeah.
And that's their names in the book, I imagine. But I'm just saying, I don't know.
So which one's which? Which one's the good... which one's married?
We start off with, because Frederick is like the really hot-handed one. He doesn't listen. He's the one we see in the beginning where he's like, we need to start doing new tricks. We need to start branching off on our own. This guy's a hack.
And spoiler, he's the one who gets hanged.
He's the one who gets hanged. Because when he's walking away from the jail cell, away from the Fallon, who is Albert at that point, he's saying, I'm so sorry for Sarah. I'm sorry for everything. You told me not to go. That's him apologizing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the bye from Borden at the end. It's gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sad. That's how I could kind of tell between the two. Especially when he's at the restaurant and ScarJo's calling him Freddy and he doesn't really mind. Whereas when Albert, when she calls Albert Freddy, he doesn't like that at all. Like, you can kind of tell in those instances, like, who's who.
Yeah.
Okay,
You don't
that's
love
fair.
me today.
That's how I know, Jordan. I pay attention to films.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, American Cinematographer's best shot film of between 98 and 2008 is number 36.
What's numero un?
Oh, I don't know.
Titanic?
17,000 people voted, though. That was 97, so probably not Titanic. Let me look. Talk amongst yourselves.
Pap, do you have any gripes with this movie outside the twin clones thing?
Yeah, like I would say, the only reason it's not a 5-star film are I think we spend too much time with Hugh Jackman. Like, I really don't care how he does his trick. The whole mystery of the movie is how Christian Bale's doing his trick, and that's what's important, and that's what I care about. And that's like the whole emotional thing at the end with the kid. Like, I don't need to see. I love David Bowie, but I love Andy Serkis, Gollum, too. Stevie, what do you think about him?
Girl.
Doing an accent.
Yeah. Also, what was up with ScarJo's accent? That was atrocious. She was doing the Kate Winslet thing where she was going American accent, English accent. It was very hard to watch.
It didn't bother me that much.
Same.
But
Yeah.
But Andy Serkis, I mean, he really wasn't that well known at this point outside of being Gollum, so it was kind of cool seeing him in a movie like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Pre-Black Panther, Best Picture nominee. I don't know. Like I said, like my biggest problem is the amount of time we spend with Hugh Jackman.
You think it's too split and we should have gone more to Christian Bale?
But I think he's kind of the star. He's supposed to be the focus of the movie, but it's supposed to like leave you wanting to know, and it's almost like they give up on trying to help you figure out how he's doing the trick.
And
like
here
you follow
is
him
the
around.
prestige.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Or the turn.
Ooh, Pappy, you'll be happy with number 2 on this list.
Children of Men.
Yep.
Number 1.
You're not gonna guess.
Mad Max?
Gladiator.
And Gladiator's 15. This is 98 to 2008.
Green Book.
None of you guys are going to get. It's
Green Mile.
Amelie.
I love that movie.
I haven't seen it yet, but it's on my list. Saving Private
It's a
Ryan
great
3.
movie.
There Will Be Blood 4. No Country 5.
Yeah, Amelie's great.
Interesting. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I'm looking forward to it. Dark Knight 7.
Can we talk about the Prestige versus The Illusionist?
My jam.
I like The Illusionist. I just like this a lot more.
I'm
I've
kind of
never
the same,
seen The
Brett.
Illusionist.
Yeah, I think
So
The
I would kind of
Illusionist
like to get some.
it's like
Are
decent.
they similar stories? Like,
No.
I mean,
no.
they're about magicians and
They're magicians with a twist ending. It's about one
Yeah.
magician with a twist ending.
With a really big plot hole at the end.
Stevie.
Spoil it, I don't care. What
What's the
happens?
Stevie, it seems
Brett?
like you have stronger feelings.
You can't tell me that guy, whatever the big boss guy, that he, in the end, would kill himself.
Why wouldn't he?
Someone that powerful, you don't think he could get out of it?
No, they told him he wasn't getting out of it.
Nah, he'd be all, there's no way. I think that's like option number 7 for
Getting
him.
out of what?
Watch the movie, man. This is a lot more like real magic, like a lot more mysticism. It's pretty good, man. Edward Norton's pretty good.
Yeah, this one actually is like magic.
Yeah, he's a great bad guy. I can never remember his name. Rufus Sewell.
Scrimgeour.
But I remember
Nice.
this being one of like the classic annoying Hollywood, the exact same movies coming out twice.
Armageddon,
in the same
Sudden
year.
Impact.
Another magical movie came out that year too. I'd never heard of, but
Same. I was looking at that as well.
it is called
It's with Hugh Jackman.
Scoop.
Yeah.
Scoop.
Well, it's Woody Allen.
Hmm.
Okay, it's Scarlett Johansson, Hugh Jackman. Holy crap!
Kind of want to watch it.
What's the Rotten Tomato rating?
What's the Rotten Tomatoes? I don't know. It's 96 minutes, so it's pretty short.
Well, that's good.
Ian McShane, he's good too.
Woody Allen doesn't necessarily make
Two
epics.
stars. Wow.
Mostly negative reviews.
On Scoop.
38% in Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh, that's not good at all.
Worst movie Woody Allen has ever made by the Washington Post.
Ian
Future
McShane.
punishment pick. Hugh
Someone-
Jackman. We're pivoting.
Someone called it the funniest movie of the year so far, and Allen's funniest film in a decade. Ooh, we got some dissenting views here.
Well, Stevie, I want to hear your breakdown of Illusionist.
Same.
Prestige.
Yep.
What do you want to? I mean, they're totally different movies from The Prestige. I mean, they're legitimately different movies.
Yeah, I've
But I feel
always
like
hated how they were
they're
compared.
always pitted against each other.
I don't understand why they're compared. They're not even comparable.
Okay. Because they're two magic movies that came out in the same year.
That's like saying Aquaman and Infinity War are the same.
Or Dark.
The average person
Deep
doesn't
Impact and
pay
Armageddon came out like 3 months apart. They're nothing alike.
I mean, I really like The Illusionist. It's more of a love story than anything, where this is more of kind of like a petty rivalry. The Prestige is.
Okay. Stevie, that's part of the reason that I thought you hated this movie, is because I thought you were an illusionist guy.
I am an illusionist guy. Like, I love Ed Norton. I love that movie. It's beautifully shot.
But you don't pit them against each other.
No, I'm not
in that way.
Not like this one's better than this one because of this one. No, it's just they're different.
You get that though, don't you? Like, I've always said, like, hey, do you like The Prestige? No, I like The Illusionist more. I'm like, they're not alike.
They're not alike at all.
I always get that, and I'm like, I'm more of an illusionist,
man.
man.
What do you mean? You always get that?
Like,
How many conversations are you having?
Dude, I can think of one specifically.
Dude,
and when I worked at children's home, and I was like, hell, he's like, I was like, if you seen Prestige, you just watch it. I love it. He goes, oh, no, I don't like that. I like The Illusionist. I was like,
what year did this come out?
You must choose one.
Trust me, it was a big deal back then. I mean, like, they both came out.
2008? That was a very different movie landscape in 2008. You didn't have YouTube videos making 100 million trailer views. You know what I mean? So it's like, you saw one that was kind of a magic movie, another one that was kind of a magic movie. It was tough to like tell them apart in your head.
Yeah. And every time I bring it up, my dad goes, now, which one's that? Because he watched them both.
Yeah. Which one's that? Yeah.
Like, okay, so they somewhat similar, but not really. One's about two magicians trying to one-up each other and drive each other mad. Whereas The Illusionist is about one magician driving like a really powerful guy mad.
Yeah, he's trying. They both love. Well,
they both love the same person.
Girl.
Yeah,
Paul Giamatti. He's really good. I mean, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I don't think they're not similar in any way.
No,
I feel like that's more of like a rebellion type of movie, and this is like Stevie said, like a rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, they're both really interesting and fun to watch. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Hey, I'm happy, man. I mean, one of the things I hated about you the most is that you said it was a garbage movie, and you don't disliked about you, and now you don't seem to dislike it, like Stevie. Hate it anymore. So that's I consider it a win.
It's so well done. It's really well acted. It's really well shot. I just don't like twins and clones. It bothers me. I don't know why. I think they could have come to like a clever resolution a different way, or even have a different story in a certain way. But
the clones bring out. It's just.
But there's too much time. Jordan, are you with me? There's too much time spent.
I told Pat, you could have shaved 10, 15 minutes like off this movie.
It's not a long film. It's 2 hours and 4 minutes. But I still think there's time to be cut.
Yeah, I would agree. I think like you said earlier, Pappy, I think there's too much time spent with Hugh Jackman, and I think that, like you said, the really interesting stuff is mostly with Borden, and I would even go further and say mostly with their like rivalry, and it kind of gets away from that. I would say between like the halfway mark and the end. So you could probably cut some and tighten it up a little bit. But
I wouldn't cut a second.
I'm saying that a 5-star version of this movie is completely focused on Christian Bale's relationships with the two women in his life, and is a little bit more ambiguous on, you know, who's who, and let's paint Hugh Jackman as this like total mystic figure. Yeah, he has magic machines. I don't even know how he gets those magic machines. The whole mystery to the audience should be is this one guy, and then the third act twist is the Prestiges is two guys. That would have been way better.
I mostly agree, but if you do that, you cut David Bowie, which I think really
dance.
Well, come on, man! You can't cut Bowie and Smeagol out of this movie. I love that shit, and I don't know.
Are you telling me they didn't walk around their perimeter of their building to look for hats? Like they didn't take a little walk?
Dude, they were down a hill in a ravine.
But Hugh Jackman just saw it on his way out of the building that one time.
No, I'm not trying to defend it. Yeah, you're right. There are some holes,
dumb.
But
you're dumb.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a very strong movie.
It is a really strong movie. I don't know. I think it could have gone about a different way, but as I said, I'm happy Jordan picked this because I'm happy I got to watch it again. The ending still drives me nuts, But
So you
love the ending so
you
much.
said everything except for the last 5 minutes. You
last
love
5
Stevie.
minutes drives me nuts.
Interesting.
That's what blew me away the first time I watched it, and every time I watch it still.
But the whole thing about the last 5 minutes is like 2 minutes and 30 seconds of it you see right away, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Like there's only two minutes of new footage in the last 5 minutes of
Yeah, with the girl and everything.
Mm-hmm.
with the girl, and then like maybe that last shot of the
God,
tanks.
I love the ending so much. I just I'm going crazy over here.
But Brett, if I came to you and said, "Hey, I wrote
You
this
coming
script,"
at me, bro? Coming
if
at
I
me,
came
bro?
to you and said, "Hey, I wrote this script. Not only is there clones involved, but the big twist is that twins are going to defeat the clones." Wouldn't you find that kind of hacky?
No, because it goes back to the Chinese guy at the beginning. It's the whole point of the movie. Like Jordan said, he was like jokingly
Sacrifice for
said,
the craft.
he is the prestige, man. He is the trick. They've lived their whole adult lives like that. They've ruined their lives. They've ruined the lives of other people for the craft of being a magician. That's all he cared about. Now, that's not all he cared about. He loved his daughter and his niece, whatever you want to call her, and his wife and his mistress, but that's like all he wanted to do. It's all he cared about was being that magician.
Then why get a wife? Why tangle it up?
He fell in love with her. But yeah, no, I mean, again, I think that probably wasn't part of the plan. And I think the other brother was kind of like, what the heck, bro? But like love, I mean, it's love, man. What can he do?
First of all, Chinaman is not the preferred
Nomenclature.
Brett.
What is it, Asian American? What does he say?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Michael Caine says Chinaman in this
Michael
movie
Caine.
multiple times.
And then the only way that Angiers could beat Borden was to do some mystical crap. And that was his downfall as well. I mean, they're both their clone and their twin thing was their downfall in the end. And, you know, you think you're rooting for Angiers the whole time. He finally wins at the end.
You're rooting for Angiers in this movie?
No, I'm not. Heck no. But I think he's supposed to be somewhat the good guy, and I mean, everyone else kind of thinks Borden's the bad guy. Then again, Angiers did bury Fallon alive, so I don't know. You just think he's going to win at the end. He got his tricks and got him in prison. I mean, he didn't mean to get him in. Well, actually, did he?
Yes.
He set that up? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. It's just perfect to me. The ending's perfect to me, so.
Gotcha. Well, I respect that. Anybody have anything else to add?
I kind of want to hear your guys' Christopher Nolan rankings.
Ooh, it's too hard, man. He's my
of the ones
favorite.
you've seen.
Jesus.
Or no, would it take too long?
No.
How many movies
No.
has he done?
Like, actually written and directed.
8-ish?
Well, I don't
Following.
care about written. I think his brother writes everything.
You say that all the time. You are not correct with that, Stevie.
I've never said that on this pod, Brett.
You said it you gave me crap about it on
What?
trivia night. You said Jonathan writes all the movies anyway.
He writes a lot of them.
They've
Hold on,
co-written
Fair enough.
some of them.
Never mind. No, we shouldn't do an order. It'll take
That's
fucking
something to
forever.
get real worked up about, Brett.
I love Christopher Nolan, man. I just
Jesus Christ. You said you hate me. You said you
What?
dislike me. Jumped down my throat.
No.
Oh,
I'm pulling up my
for
Nolan
fuck's
movies.
sake.
It's too late. This
Man,
Pandora's box.
this was the friendliest punishment episode ever until
Yeah.
30 seconds ago.
9
Insomnia
movies.
is actually
Nine
really
movies he
underrated
wrote and
movie.
directed. Yeah, he didn't write that one though.
Is that the one with Shia LaBeouf?
Insomnia?
That's-
No, that's Disturbia.
Disturbia.
Or Suburbia. I don't know.
Yeah.
Disturbia, something like that.
Disturbia, I think. Yeah,
Rear Window in the 2000s.
My bad.
but I've seen all of them now except for his first one.
We got Dunkirk 1, Inception 2, Dark Knight 3, Batman Begins 4, The Prestige 5, Interstellar 6, Memento 7, Dark Knight Rises 8.
You know what? I forgot I actually have a list. It's just might have changed recently, and I've only seen I've only seen Inception once.
Really?
Oh, I can't wait to watch it again. It's so good.
Stevie,
How have
what's
you
your
only seen
list?
it once?
Yeah, I thought like everyone said it at least 3 times. Let's see here. Let me go to his director. I'm on his writing.
I gotta edit mine real quick. It's outdated.
So,
I haven't seen
Interstellar
Insomnia.
1.
Get the hell out.
My boy.
I saw that in IMAX, man.
I did not see it.
No Time for Caution is one of the best pieces that Hans Zimmer's ever written, and watching it on film on a giant screen like that was insane. Let's see here. Inception 1, Interstellar 2.
Whoa! Inception 1, Interstellar 2?
Oh, my bad. Interstellar 1, Inception 2. Dark Knight 3. I'll go with Insomnia at 4.
Wait. Okay, he just directed that one. If that counts or not.
I thought we were just doing directing.
Yeah.
Was Insomnia good?
Yeah, I like that movie a lot. Then I would go Dunkirk. Then I would go The Prestige. Then probably Dark Knight Rises. Then probably Batman Begins down there somewhere.
And then Memento.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that movie.
I know, you told me. You said it was terrible. These are just my favorites, all right? There's going to be one that's going to shock everyone, so just be prepared, okay?
Bring it.
Jordan, you better have a list after asking this question.
Yeah.
My list as it stands, without thinking too hard, The Prestige, Interstellar, Dark Knight, Inception. Here's the controversial one. Dark Knight Rises, Dunkirk, Batman Begins, Memento. I had Memento a lot higher after the first watch, and after the second watch, I dropped it a lot lower. It's a great one-time watch, and after that, it's like, oh yeah, It's still really good. I mean, I just think
it's like The Usual Suspects,
for sure. But yeah, I know you can't possibly fathom why Stevie and I love Interstellar so much, but I think it's so good.
You had to see it on the big screen, man.
I watched it on a laptop. Yeah, it's not
the same.
Plus,
when you see 65. Matt Damon roll out of nowhere 2 hours in, you're like, what in the world?
Man, we gotta bleep that out again.
They've had their time. I'm
gonna force my brother to watch it really soon, so.
Really?
He's a big science guy, and he just never has time. He's got kids. He never gets to watch movies.
Jordan, what's your list?
Yep.
I think... So, I have not seen Dunkirk or Following, and I also haven't seen Memento since I was probably 16, so I almost kind of count that one out. But for me, it's Dark Knight, and then Prestige, and then Inception and Interstellar are kind of 3A, 3B, and then I would say Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises are kind of next.
Dark Knight Rises is very flawed. I get it. I just love Tom Hardy as Bane. I know people hate him for some reason, but
I mean, I really like all of his movies, but if you have to rank them, that's kind of where I'm at.
That's a pretty good list. I covered the mic. I don't know why I thought that would give it the...
Wait, Brett, was that you? I thought that was Stevie.
Was that your Bane?
Hey, guys, I gotta go. Tom Hardy just got here.
Wow.
Man, I did not know what reaction I was going to get for that. I'm glad I got a laugh.
This is the best movie podcast in the goddamn world. We revealed Tom Hardy at the 45-minute mark.
We're going to end that on a high note.
I thought this episode would be so much more combative, Stevie. Fuck. You've come around.
Well, it was a great episode.
I've come around. It's just, I think they could have done something different with the twins and the clones thing. Still bothers me.
Fair
I
enough.
understand, and someone did review it. Said it's kind of like a trick, almost like a cheap trick, but not like the crappy band, but
Can we use one of those songs to play us out?
I want you to like The Prestige.
Brett, you're on fire tonight.
They're both terrible jokes, but I'm glad you guys liked them.
Damn, Brett. Funny.
Brett's on fire tonight.
Pappy, are we cleared to play Modern Love by David Bowie?
There it goes. It's already started playing.
He's not going to complain about it.
The single best song to clean your house to, Modern Love by David Bowie. Try it. You'll be in the best mood while you're cleaning, I promise.
So specific.
I've done it. It's a great time. But I'd like to also thank Brett for his 2 jokes at the end. Those were hysterical.
You're welcome, guys.
It was awesome. Well, thank you for listening. I have come around quite a bit on The Prestige. Still think the twins and clones thing is hacky.
Yeah,
but hey,
the tone's great. It's dark.
Hey, I would give this 4 out of 5 stars. Great movie.
Cool.
Yeah,
Success. Awesome
great
TV.
movie. So,
Oscar Pickem unretired. We're bringing it back.
Yeah.
Bringing it back.
Love it.
Join us next time for The Illusionist.
Oh, what is next time? Fast and the Furious?
Probably Split.
What?
Oh, I meant for next Punishment movie.
What are we recording next, though?
Probably
Fast and Furious, yeah.
Fast and the Furious. Yeah.
Stevie loves it.
Back in a time when movies had their own theme song, Fast and the Furious killed it. So, thanks for listening, and this was Spoilers.
Spoiler Man here. Our email is podcastspoilers@gmail.com. Twitter is @spoilers_pod. Our Instagram is podcast spoilers. It's lit. Josh Hensley from the Rutabaga wrote our theme song. Our spoilers hotline is 903-776-4507. That's 903-SPOIL07. Please support this podcast by leaving us an iTunes review. To do this, 1. Search for movie spoilers. 2. Click on our orange Spoilers Bowl logo and scroll all the way to the bottom. 3. Leave us some stars and some words. Now you can check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe on SoundCloud or iTunes.
That was Spoilers.